Okay, we are live at Lacedaemon's Corner again. So this will be also my de facto anime bosses video because I've been so busy I haven't had time to actually record a proper video. Plus I didn't get too much footage from the anime boss because I was too busy going to events, so constantly meetups and you know panels and whatnot. But yeah, Anime Boston was a lot of fun. That's the first thing we're gonna be talking about today. So me and my friend Dylan went to Anime Boston. We got the AB Ultra Pass, which was quite a bit of fun. It got us into several panels, very early, and it got us like very prime seats in those panels. Just pull up my notes here. Okay. So me and Dylan left where we live around 5 a.m. We arrived at Boston at 8 a.m. Roughly around that time. We checked in. Well, we checked in, dropped our bags off, and then we went right into the... Reed couldn't make it because they had an emergency with their dog. They are the spouse of Jill Harris, who is the voice of Fern and Frieren, and Masha and Roshidere. I got Jill's autograph, though. She was very nice. And I had a little bit of a problem because it turns out I forgot my toothbrush, toothpaste, and Gyu sword at home. So I ended up foregoing the Gyu cosplay. And I ended up having to buy toothbrush and toothpaste at a Walgreens near the Heinz Convention Center. And yeah, that was interesting. So on Friday, I went to the Magical Girl and Love Live photo shoots to take photos and whatnot and talk with the fans and whatnot. Followed a couple great cosplayers on Instagram. Their names escape me right now, unfortunately, but they were pretty good. But there was one cosplayer there. We're going to have a talk about them later on. A little bit later on in this discussion. Because we got to have a serious chat about that person. Anyway. So, in total, I got Greg Ayers' autograph, an Iris Quinones' autograph, and Juliet Simmons' autographs on Friday. Greg Ayers, I mean, I went to his panel last year. I went to his panel this year. Again, very funny. I never bothered to get his autograph until this year, though, surprisingly. And I wish I got it sooner, because he's a very cool guy. Very, very fucking hilarious dude. And he gives out autographs for free, actually. So a little bit of context in that. So actually many years ago, it wasn't uncommon for guests to do free autographs at conventions, because the conventions used to pay guests quite a bit more money. Of course, then, inflation came around and, other things happened in the industry that resulted in guests having to charge for autographs because autographs became a key source of income for them, unfortunately. But Greg still does autographs for free at Anime Boston, because he comes to the Anime Boston every single year. The thing is, he's not even from the area. He was never from the area. He was actually born... Him and his brother Chris were born in Virginia, and they moved to Texas, where they became voice actors and whatnot. And, God rest Chris Ayers' soul. For those who don't know, Chris Ayers was the voice of Frieza in Dragon Ball Z. Once Funimation took over, and he passed away a few years ago, unfortunately, from CO. So, I also saw Caitlin Glass. I didn't get her autograph because I got her autograph last year at Phantom Fest near Schenectady. This is one of my local cons, which, by the way, is not happening this year, unfortunately. It fucking sucks, and because that's the closest con to me, and it's not happening, and like I said, it fucking sucks. But anyway, Caitlin Glass was super nice back then, and she was here. Went to her panel. Her panel was nice. Unfortunately, and it was getting annoying. I didn't leave the panel early because of him. He got talked to by security, I think, like twice. I don't know if he was forced to leave the panel eventually. We're married, by the way. There's a third voice actor. Fuck, I forgot her name. Anyway, so AJ Beckles, as you know, voices Okarun in Dandanan. Which is the other one? Anjali Kupaneni. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Kuna Paneni. Anjali Kuna Paneni. She's also a really good voice actor. I'm not even gonna pretend that pronunciation of her last name was any good. I'm not even gonna pretend that pronunciation. I visited Engine 33 and Ladder 15, who are across the street from the Heinz. I got to see the engine, the truck up close. I actually saw their radio room. So Boston Fire actually still uses the pole boxes, and they still maintain them pretty well. They have already used that plus the older Gamewell system. And they still tap out the boxes over the air, too. Like, if you listen to any Boston Fire audio, beeps are actually tapping out the closest box to the fire when they put that out. And coming from an area where they got rid of the boxes, years ago, Saturday was really just like a shopping day and relaxation day a little bit for me. I saw Greg Ayers Raw and Uncensored with my friend Dylan. He had a fucking blast. Greg Ayers was fucking hilarious as usual. Not gonna repeat the stories here too much, because, I don't want to cause any... And And if you don't know this, Greg is gay. As Greg himself will say, he is ridiculously gay. He made a joke that many years ago, if you typed in "is Greg Ayers" on Google, one of the first all-complete results was "is Greg Ayers gay?" So in his words, he would be completely fucked if Trump ever started going after queer people. Seriously, men. Which just reminds me of that whole you could be 100 men in a fight, right? In a fight. Fucking tired. So I ended up seeing Bad Anime Bad again, with Brian Price. I actually met up with him after the panel. We talked for a bit. He's a fucking great guy. He's a very good guy. If you're going to Anime New Jersey in November, he will be there. I don't know what day he'll be there, but he'll be there to host Bad Anime, the 80s and 90s and whatnot. So he's been in this for a while. So Bad Anime Bad was fucking hilarious. We watched some Traces Dinosaur Island, which you saw last year, which is... If you ever seen Rhapsody Street Kids, the same company made that. A lot of same voice actors too, including as so yeah, Brian T. Price is a very good guy. Very, very, very funny guy. We watched anime. We saw one of those really shitty bootleg South Korean anime that Joseph Lai dubbed back in the 90s. With really shitty voice acting. Battleship Yamato, or as also known as Star Blazers, stole designs from Gundam, stole designs from other anime and whatnot. By the river, and sister's like, "Wow, the water is beautiful today," and the brother's like, "Not as beautiful as you, sis." And we're just like, he wasn't thinking of incest or whatever, but given that the people who wrote the script probably barely speak English as it is it just came off really wrong. Even Brian was just like, what? And we were all the same way, just like, which is alright because I got Kaiji Tang's autograph on Sunday, and he had a really fucking hilarious thing. I got one autograph as Guts because he was the second voice of Guts in English, the first being Mark Thierry's which, God, I hope I meet him one day. Plus Sons. I hope I meet the three of them one day. I met the director of the Berserk dub, Mike Sinter-Nicholas. Great guy, and I remember telling him I watched the extended wound scene in the Memorial Edition dub. How I cried, actually, when I watched that. And it really touched him, actually. So props to you guys, for the Berserk dubcast, honestly. But listen, the dubcasts are actually pretty good. Honestly, the voice casting, the voice acting sucks. The sound effects suck. They cut out quite a bit. They cut out the entire Lost Children arc, which sucks. It's unfortunate because this doesn't do it justice. And it sucks that voice actors. They were given this project, and they did the best they could. And honestly, I thought vocally they did a pretty good job, including Kaiji Tang. I mean, he's not Mark Thierry's son, in my opinion. No one can top him. But Kaiji Tang honestly still did a pretty good job. And have Kaiji Tang come in and take over for him on a permanent basis, if that were the case. I know there was a bit of controversy when they recast a bunch of people because it was dubbed in L.A., and they didn't bring on any of the old cast, despite the fact that both Mark and Carrie had moved from New York to Los Angeles. A little pissed off about that, which is unfortunate. I think they should have casted them, but but I'm not going to take it out on the new cast. I think new cast did a good job with what they had, or whoever the fuck, and made that shitty decision. The voice actors did the best with what they had, and I thought they did a pretty damn good job. The Sonomy one is something he drew himself. It's literally just a really shitty drawing of Sonomy saying, "I am windy," and it is the best thing I've seen in quite some time from Demon Slayer, honestly. So over the weekend, we set up the Raising Cane's, which is a bit of a tradition whenever I go out to Boston, anywhere in Massachusetts, because I stop there at least once when I go out there. Same with Dylan. So with Dylan, actually, we went out to Six Flags New England, and we stopped at Raising Cane's one day. I was like, "Dude, you gotta come to Raising Cane's. This is fucking amazing." And we went down to Enfield, Connecticut, which is right on the border with Agawam, Massachusetts. And like Boston, or we're going to Six Flags New England. We gotta stop at Raising Cane's at least once. And we that day, and I actually went to the Firehouse, Engine 33 Ladder 15, and Fire Force cosplay, which is a little awkward, but whatever. Fire Force cosplay. There's a fire in our soul, we go big or go home together. We Will Never Die by Kyle Gordon starts playing as soon as I see this place. Fucking amazing. Even my friend Dylan will agree with me. The food in there was incredible, And you can see why. You can 100% see why I'm stop for near into burgers and whatnot. Even if not, they have other food there too. But if you're in Boston and you got time, stop at that place and get some fucking food there. Right as we were leaving Boston, I got a shit ton of food there. It's traditional of mine whenever we go to Boston, I always stop at Wings Over Boston because it used to be Wings Over. I got 6 wings in one night. I walked in here literally, my hotel room literally at midnight and ate while Dylan was sleeping. And he had a wing and he liked it. He loved it as well. He loved 2 days, including once when I was at the ambulance garage. I was doing a shift, at my volunteer ambulance corps. And I brought the Wings Over. Wings Over is pretty good. If you have one in your area, get some. If you don't, if you have a stop in an area that has them, get it. Earlier. So there was this person who was a Tokyo Mew Mew fan, Tokyo Mew Mew cosplayer. They were cosplaying Ichigo from Tokyo Mew Mew, or Zoe, if you're familiar with the Mew Mew Power dub. I've talked to them before online. I met them in person last, but I learned a few days later that there was an incident involving them at Anime Boston. So they were a little obsessed with Tokyo Mew Mew, a little bit much, more than me. But this is making it a little serious here. This person, 2000 or 2001, so it's not even a 90s show, had like a little meltdown at some point. They, when I've been able to gather from multiple people, they punched an Anime Boston staff member, and they bit a Boston police officer. And the thing is, this person was active on the Tokyo Mew Mew Discord and the Tokyo Mew Mew Power subreddit. The latter of which I run more. It's mostly me and another guy named Zorn Wolf who are most active there. So we talked about it afterwards, and we agreed that I made a mega thread, and I told it that anything related to this incident would be discussed in that mega thread. Anything else outside would be deleted and be redirected to the mega thread I made in the subreddit. So that happened, and frankly, I was embarrassed. More well known because of that incident, and it kind of embarrasses me as a fan of the series. I've been a fan of the series since 2010, 2011, and it was my gateway into Magical Girl series as a whole. So for how I found the series, it was because, which I like to tour my one friend Frederick's cosplay with, because she's a huge fan of One Piece, but she's more familiar with the Funimation dub because she got into One Piece from the 4Kids One Piece sub, and she was just like, wait, what the fuck is this? Like, she's not used to it at all. Whereas I grew up with the 4Kids One Piece sub, plus the early days of the Funimation dub when they were both shown on Toonami. And obviously she's a character. She's done Bellamere cosplays quite a bit. She honestly can pull off a pretty damn good Bellamere cosplay. Not gonna lie. And or Helmeppo's gun being edited into a fucking head bonking machine for Kobe. Smoker being renamed Chaser, despite the fact that 4Kids remove Smoker's cigar or anything for whatever reason. That's just Chaser. He just breathes out smoke randomly. It's not a problem though. Or the fact that all the guns got changed into Super Soakers. Or Arlong's massive fucking Yowie hands as he points at Bellamere, because 4Kids edited the gun out of his hand and replaced it with a massive fucking Yowie hand. Fucking huge for some reason, so we call them Yowie hands. And Arlong had a giant Yowie hand as he was pointing at Bellamere. And so in the Japanese version and the Funimation dub, Bellamere got shot in front of Nami and Nojiko, and is both of their adoptive moms. And Arlong shot her because she refused to go along with what Arlong was doing. Essentially, that's the whole gist of it. Now, 4Kids. Now, keep in mind, 4Kids obviously didn't want to show someone getting shot on a Saturday morning cartoon. The way they went about it was by editing Arlong's. So now the implication is that Bellamere either is still alive and is still in that dungeon, or she died in said dungeon. Which honestly, that's honestly a worse fate than getting shot in the head immediately, because that cosplay. And she remembers like people making jokes about the dungeon thing. She didn't get it because again, she only knew the fun of dungeon. And then I showed her the scene, and she thought it was fucking hilarious. But also just felt wrong because again, she's wow, that was a long fucking tangent. Okay, back to what I said. So I see these edit compilations that 4Kids did about cute girls fighting stuff. Let's take a look at that. And I watched it, and looking back at it now, I can safely say that 12-year-old me had never been more turned on before in his life. 12-year-old me, by the way. Not me, not current me, 12-year-old me. All right? That may have been a factor. I didn't even realize it, but the show is still pretty good. And I was like, there's Yuki Yuna, there's Precure, and it's like, holy shit, wow, shows of the girls in them can be actually pretty good, actually. And then it got me into idol anime, with Love Live and whatnot, and music anime, like, so yeah, that's how I got into Tokyo Anime back in the day. And like I said, to see this incident happen is a little embarrassing. I mean, people reassure me that it's not that big of a deal, I guess, for the fan or whatever, but it still just feels wrong to me. And this person's actions obviously are inexcusable. There's no excuse for it. But I hope that they get the help in you, because they clearly haven't happened again. So yeah, that was Anime Boston. I look forward to next year. Hopefully I'll be able to make next year. Maybe at the Heinz next year. So what I've found out from my research, mostly through Red Bard, who I met at the convention again this year. I talked to someone there, and I may end up uploading some stuff from Genericon on this Internet Archive. But anime was a huge fucking part of it. The convention died because of COVID, unfortunately. I went to the very last one in 2019. I was going to the 2021, even though I was in a wheel. And I think I had the 2018, I think the 2019 programs somewhere in my. So yeah, Red Bard's a pretty good channel. Check them out. Check them, Red Bard or Kennedy's information. So many years ago, Anime Boston signed a contract with the Heinz Convention Center to host the convention there for I think 20 years or something. But I believe that might be running out. That might be running out soon. And the problem is Anime Boston has been getting pretty crowded recently. Especially last couple years because anime has exploded in popularity. It has a little more room, and there's still a hotel attached to it. But some people feel like if it goes there, it might lose a little bit of the personality. I have no fucking clue when that contract with the Heinz is gonna run out. I think it's either this year, I think it's either 20 next year, because there is a little bit more room over there, and Anime Boston can get pretty crowded sometimes. I mean, it's not as bad as a crowd at like Saratoga Comic Con has, or like it is at Saratoga Comic Con, but you know, it's not. It's noticeable, but it's not super dangerous. Also went to Albany Comic Con for like an hour and a half before I went to a Capitol Pride. Now, the thing is, I'm not a member of the LGBTQ community myself. Just shit going on with fucking Trump. And a supporter got some photos, posted them on Instagram, but also on my personal Facebook. Stuff from Trump verbatim on my feed. Like, these people who like the posts, or she liked the posts, usually tend to be, you know, like the cognitive dissonance is weird. I know what happens, but like the cognitive dissonance can be so weird. I mean, look, I'll take what I can guess. Now, but Albany Pride was pretty fun. It was pretty good. Got some good food. Talked to some guys. Their apartments in Yodeland, New York, marched in there. And met up with them. I met up with her. So their department has a lot of young people because SUNY Albany is half in Gillen and half in Albany. So some of their guys are in the other departments at Gillen. We have none right now. We had one lesbian in the past, but she left because of some personal stuff going on in her life. She left because she decided she couldn't meet their. I just hope she's doing well. Anyway, it's just weird having so many queer people in a fire department because, like, you know, I hate to say it, fire departments can be a little bit on the conservative side a little bit. I don't know how I hate to say it, I don't know how my department would handle. My ambulance squad is actually himself gay. He wasn't at the event. He's actually never been to a Pride event, believe it or not. He says it's just not for him. Boss, because he works for the State Bureau of EMS and Department of Health in New York. His boss was actually at the event. I may have ran into him. I don't know him. I don't know, but a whole bunch of people were there. Albany Police, Albany Fire, Mohawk Ambulance had like 3 ambulances and like 10 people marching in their parade, which was pretty cool. The association was there. I said hi to them. My union was there, NYSUT. I'm in the NYSUT union, and they actually had a fucking truck. Kathy Sheehan spoke there. This is actually her last year speaking at Pride because she's not gonna be mayor next year, I believe, or she's not gonna be mayor after. The mood was pretty joyful, even with all the bullshit going on, especially the bullshit in Los Angeles, which you'll be talking about next. So, as you know, now look, I'm not gonna say the violence is okay. All right, I'm not gonna be here and it's like, yeah, burn all these stores, burn all these ICE. I do not like ICE, especially under Trump. And I don't support the violence, but I support the peaceful protests. That's all I'm gonna say. And Trump's deployment of the National Guard and potentially, I'll tell you right now, this is not as bad as the fucking Rodney King riots. But if this had been the Rodney King riots, we would see about like 50 people have been killed already. No one's been killed. This riots been going. These protests have been going on for like 4 days or something. I think like 4 days, and no one's been killed. And yet, in reality, these protests are confined to a really, really small area of Los Angeles. It's not even all Los Angeles. Some of it's in the city of Paramount next door, which is a suburb of Los Angeles. And no, Paramount is not named after the studio. In fact, I believe the studio is actually named after Paramount, California. I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I know it's not named after the studio. It might be the other way around. Just fine. Hell, they had a massive pride parade in other part of Los Angeles, and there were absolutely no problems there. No arrests, no. This is what he does, and he makes it a bigger deal than it has to be. And Pete Hegseth, fucking DUI hire Pete Hegseth is gonna try to set deployments on 29-day blocks. So that way the DOD doesn't have to pay for meals and accommodations for the soldiers. Which is a really scummy thing to do. That's a really fucking scummy thing to do. Because if it was 30 days, 89 days to make so they don't have to. Like I said, it is really fucking scummy. And Gavin Newsom, I mean, I have some problems with Newsom. Particularly his comments when Charlie Kirk came on his little podcast show or whatever. Those comments were cringe, and I don't like what he said in those comments. But I will say I he's actually gotten into feuds on Twitter with, I think, like at least the governor of Louisiana. I think maybe one other governor too, California. Hold on, let me look up. Let me pull up Gavin Newsom real quick. Okay, hang on. Okay. He sent out. Oh, here we go. All right, look. All right. Let's put the PC shot on real quick. All right, hang on. All right, let's put the PC shot on. Here we go. Okay, so as you can see here, the governor of Louisiana. Oh, wait, no, the governor of... Wait, not Louisiana, fuck. Mark Wayne Mullen, governor. Oh, wait. Oh, he's not even a governor. Oh, fuck. Well, I fucked that up. He's a senator. He's one of the senators from Oklahoma. So let's hear what Senator Mullen has to say.
So have you guys heard what Governor Newsom just did? He literally is suing the President of the United States for deploying the National Guard to protect his state and his city. Can you imagine this? Because he's trying to do something that the governor's not willing to do, and that's by restoring law and order. Now keep in mind, the chief of police of LA has already said that he's overwhelmed and he needs help. Governor Newsom wasn't responding, so the president did. People act like this is something new. It's not new. President Eisenhower did this in 57 and employed the 101st Airborne. JFK did this in 62 and 63, and LBJ did this in 65. So this isn't anything new. When the governor is refusing to act and protect its citizens, when a mayor of his town is refusing to act, the president has the authority to do just exactly what President Trump is doing. Keep in mind, the president campaigned on, and he's been leading on restoring law and order back to our states, back to our cities, and back to our streets. I support President Trump 100% for willing to have the backbone to stand up and fight for everyone against this lawless act.
That's what he said. So here's the thing. So a lot of these replies don't understand the idea of per capita. Obviously, when it comes to raw numbers, California has a lot more murders than Oklahoma. But the problem is, per capita, it's the opposite. Oklahoma has a higher murder rate than California. In fact, murder rate of Oklahoma, it was 7.4%. 7.4 per 100,000 in 2020. Higher than national average. 2023 was our 8.3%. Yeah, we'll go to the CDC actually. Let's go to the CDC and look at it. So indeed, Oklahoma's is higher than California's, 40%. Here's New York, by the way, 4.5. I believe the highest is District of Columbia, which is not surprising, unfortunately. Highest actual state is Mississippi. Obviously, if you count total deaths, California is many times higher than Oklahoma, but per person, California is lower than Oklahoma. So what Gavin Newsom said is true.
So have you guys heard what Governor Newsom just did?
Shut up. So it's just funny seeing Gavin Newsom just respond to all these people and just be absolutely savage. I feel like he's setting himself up for a 2028 run, in my opinion. I mean, he's on the preferred candidate for 2028, but if he wins the primary, obviously I'm going to vote for him. I'll take him over Trump any fucking day. Personally, I wouldn't mind JB Pritzker, who is the governor of Illinois. He's marched in Pride Parade since the late 90s, actually, before being gay was more accepted. And as you can see here, he's giving support to firefighters in Illinois. See this video from Bethany, Illinois, where he's giving them small equipment and whatnot, which is pretty cool. Let's watch the video.
My name is Michael Jennings, Fire Chief here in Bethany. My title is Fire Chief Paramedic. It's a small community, small department. We serve about 1,400 people, give or take, close to 2,000 depending on the day, especially business day. But we're a small bedroom community. But serving is in my blood. My grandpa was the police chief in the mid-70s to late 80s. And my goal is to hopefully provide public service like he did back in the day. The small equipment grant is designed, right now it's up to $26,000 every year. This grant program creates opportunities for smaller departments that are capped out as far as revenue source to buy gear and equipment for safety. We've been able to get this grant 4 times, and then in 2024 we were able to get additional sets of gear, thermal imaging camera, and then this gear dryer. The main benefit of the gear dryer is that it's got certain standards that it dries the gear at as far as getting the moisture off and getting it back in service. But we're able to do multiple sets of gear at once. We don't have funding for additional sets of gear, so being able to wash and dry and rotate gear back into service is beneficial, so it helps to do that. I see it making a difference every day. Every time they come up here, they respond to the call and they go home to their families. I can tell you there's a lot of items in this firehouse, those items that I discussed, I don't know that we would ever have if we didn't have this grant program.
So that's pretty cool. Thank you, JB Pritzker. You're a pretty cool dude. I'll follow your personal account too. What's this? Federal. This can't be good. So Adam Kinzinger obviously is against sending the National Guard to Los Angeles. Like I said, this is a massive overreaction, honestly. And yeah, this is definitely not concerning at all. As well, it actually is, as being sarcastic, but yeah. Of course, the replies on Twitter are fucking, they're just wonderful. Thank you, Elon, for destroying this site. I'm still on it because I'm not gonna fucking cede ground to the far right, but yeah. some stuff about Teamsters. Oh boy. Oh boy. Or grift. Alright. Unions support protests, though. That's the thing. Yeah. Oh, this is really interesting. America should exploit Iraq, 2,500. Syria, 1,500. Los Angeles, allegedly 4,800. I say allegedly because Trump may not know what day it is because he put out a tweet saying thank you to the National Guard for their hard work, despite the National Guard not even being in Los Angeles yet when he tweeted that. He tweeted like they're already there and they weren't even there yet, which is definitely not concerning at all. Definitely not a sign of cognitive decline that we definitely should not be worried about at all. Definitely not. Oh my god. Shit is so fucked, man. Shit is absolutely fucked. Ugh. Jesus Christ. Ugh. This is getting depressing. Definitely getting depressing. I'm trying to laugh through it all, but this is fucking terrifying. That any of this shit's happening at all. But yeah, that's that. For the near future, I'll be going to Albany Anime Fest on June 22nd, most likely. And I got Anime NYC coming up. I thought about going to ConnectCon this year, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not because I got a bunch of other shit going on in July and August. I got the Ghost concert, King Gizzard. I got a trip to Florida, Lincoln Park, Anime NYC. Summer's gonna be fucking packed, dude. So yeah, all that shit's happening. It's gonna be an eventful summer, both for me and perhaps for the country. Oh, and I'll try to be there for the June 14th protests somewhere in Albany, possibly, maybe. I don't know. So if you don't know, June 14th they're gonna be holding another No Kings protest. 50-51's doing it, or 50501. It'll be nationwide. The thing is, if you live in the U.S., there's definitely an event near you can go to. Let me check it real quick. Okay. 01. Okay, we'll put the PC shot back on real quick. Okay, yeah. February 5th. They put us on February 5th was the very first round of them, and there's more events coming on June 14th. Special note on Washington, D.C. Okay, yeah, so they're not hosting an event in Washington, D.C. because Trump is going to host his little fucking parade on June 14th there instead. So instead there's going to be events elsewhere, such as in Virginia or Maryland. Or the Free DC for DC Joy Day. The main event is going to be in Philadelphia on June 14th, so remember that. You can see from the map there's going to be a shit ton of events. There's even events in other countries. This is, oh shit. Okay. As you can see, there's events in Canada. Although in Canada they're called the No Tyrants. They're called No Tyrants because obviously, Canada has a king. And unlike Trump, the king of Canada, aka Charles III, he's not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy. I would definitely trust him over Trump. I'll tell you that. So obviously over there they call it No Tyrants and not No Kings, and most of them are centered around like consulates or embassies of the U.S. And there'll probably be like American American expats there, as you can see. Events near me. Like I said, if you live in an area, there's definitely an event near you. There's events all over the fucking place. Yeah. see, there's a whole bunch of events. There's flagship events in certain cities as well. There's Philadelphia, New York. I believe they're marked with the red stars. Let me take another look at them for those who might be interested. Funeral second line. Yep, so Bryant Park is where the No Kings New York March will be. And Love Park will be where the No Kings flagship march will be in Philadelphia. So you can see here in DC, there's no main events in DC itself. There's actually no events in DC at all. But that said, there are tons of events around it. There's Silver Spring, Tacoma Park, Chevy Chase, and Bethesda, I believe. The fuck, there's 2 events here? Kings Bethesda and No Kings Chevy Chase. Okay. Kings Falls Church. Yeah, tons of events. And there's events in every single state. There's a shit ton of events in Los Angeles, in San Francisco and Los Angeles. So the Red Stars are the flagship events. You even got events in Wyoming. A flagship event in Chicago. See, there's events in Canada, events in Mexico. There's an event in Colombia now, called No Reyes, which means no kings in Spanish. No tyrants. No kings. No tyrants. No kings in Puerto Rico, which is part of the U.S. I have to point out, because Republicans like to forget that, and they treat it like it's an other. No kings in the U.S. Virgin Islands. No king. Yep, there's 2 events in Virgin Islands actually. There's even a No Kings event in Malawi, surprisingly enough. In Lilongwe, which is a bit odd, but okay. I'll take it. I will absolutely take it. Any others? Some events in Europe. No. See, Tyrant taking on No Tyrants. No Kings Dublin. I see most of them are like embassies and whatnot. Most Consulate General. Oh, the Place de la Bastille, which is very interesting. Yeah, Florence. Oh, this one's run by American expats in Italy. Nice. No Kings in Greece. This one's called No Dictators instead of No Tyrants or No Kings. Because again, Spain's a monarchy, and their monarchy isn't bad. No kings in Berlin. No kings in Hamburg. No kings in Malmo, Switzerland. I mean, it's Sweden. Fuck. I don't know why the fuck did I. Fuck. Whatever. There's no other events here. There's a bunch of events in Alaska actually. No kings Kotzebue, I think. Nome. There's some in the middle of nowhere. I'm gonna have Fairbanks is in the middle of nowhere. No Kings Ketchikan. No Kings Petersburg. Sitka. Juneau. Gustavus. Haines. Yeah, ton of events all over the place. If you can be there on June 14th, be there. You can easily find an event near you. Absolutely. Oh, that's just the map. Oh, and this is a host. It's a toolkit for hosting. So yeah, if you want to host an event, here you go. Yep, sure. Got it. Do not register an event in DC. Also, commit to non-violent action. And do not bring weapons, please. Do not bring weapons. Oh, and in Boston, speaking of Boston, their No Kings event is going to be embedded with Boston Pride. Such as, no kings but Yas Queen, as well as no kings but drag kings were their two taglines. So yeah, if you want to host an event, you got like four days to do it. I doubt you could host it by now, but the resources are there. You can also use these resources for future events, because I doubt June 14th is going to be the last protest for No Kings in 5051. But yeah. So on June 14th, go ahead and join those protests if you're able to. And if you can't, spread the word. I will try to be at one of them at some point on June 14th. And I will be there to make my voice heard. I've attended a protest already. I think I attended the April one. I think it was April. And it was a really rainy day, right before my dog passed away. Yeah, my dog was 13 years old when he died. He was an old boy. He was a good boy, but he passed away back in April. But yeah, I went to the April one. It was really rainy. We went to the May one, but I missed it because it was a little too earlier than I thought. And I'll be at the June one. I'll be at one of the June ones around my area. So yeah, that'll be happening. So yeah, all that's been happening. I'm looking forward to, honestly. I might as well just, but I also might as well just break the elephant out of the room now, I guess. I mean, what the fuck did I say? Address the elephant in the room. I lost the JNC. Really crushing to me. Kind of ruined my night for a bit. One point I said I was gonna delete everything I'd ever written for original content. But I had a rough night. I got talked out of it by some writers I'm close with online. And that's what motivated me to get active on show sets there to a Japanese audience, even if it's in English, because there is a market for it out there. And some English speaking people do use Shosetsuka Ninaro. It's a little bit difficult because there's no English interface, and it's crushing. But I will say the people that won made some very fucking good works, and well, they're in the finals. They haven't won yet, but the people that got into the finals are pretty fucking good writers. Australian dude, he's in his like early 50s, and he's really into light novels and anime and whatnot, which is really surprising given his age. But he's a really cool dude. He got me out of my funk. Shout out to him and Gabby Hime especially. I think Gabby Hime was one of the winners last year. Yeah, I don't know. My works probably would have been gone without them, honestly. Every day ever since, if I had done that. I almost did it last year because I went through a rough period. And it's been a fear of mine, but at the same time, I can't remain silent given everything going on. I can't remain silent. I just fucking can't. All this shit's going on. I have to speak up in some capacity. I can't remain silent. I can't remain on the side. Being in on the action, helping someone. There's no reason why I can't remain silent about politics, because I can't remain on the sidelines when something bad's happening and something. Yeah, I didn't mean to get the mood down too much at the end of this toward the end of the stream. I'm not gonna play any games tonight. I'm a little tired right now. I'm getting close to the end of it, but yeah, that's what happened this week, I guess. So, I've extended. I'm slowly updating. I'm slowly putting all my stuff on Shoshetsuka, or Shosetsu is the abbreviation for it. I'm putting my stuff up on there. And yeah. But until then, I'm just gonna keep grinding, I guess. Or keep working. I'm working a lot. I've been working a lot these past couple days. The end of the year is always fucking crazy at the school, so I haven't been too active online, honestly. I haven't had the time to. I worked today. And like 2 people called out last night, so yeah, I ended up staying afterwards to help them do rooms and also do set up within our school's gym. That was hell. But I got a lot of fucking overtime from it, which was pretty cool. I'm angry, get anything going on. Sad. But yeah. Am I written atrocities, whether it's fan fiction or original content? And I'll stay tuned for next time. June 14th for the No Kings and 5051 protest. June 14th.